Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, that is Aditya Knowledge Academy. So in this video we are going to discuss English second language of 8th standard lesson 1, that is prose 1, a day in the ashram. Please subscribe my channel and share, like and comment below for any doubts. So here we have poet name, that is C.F. Andrews. He was written a day in the ashram. So here C.F. Andrews, Charles Ferrer Andrews, 1871 to 1940, was an English priest of the Church of England. He was an educator and Indian freedom fighter. He became Mahatma Gandhi's closest friend and associate. Andrews reveals his experience while he stayed in the ashram. Shantiniketan was founded by Rabindranath Tagore. It is a school with the difference where students learn with the great joy. So here we have seen that is his name is A Day in the Ashram was written by C.F. Andrews. His full name is Charles Ferrer Andrews. He was born in 12th February 1871 and he was a very closest friend of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, let's learn about him briefly. So here we have a little more information about Andrews. Charles Ferrer. So he was an Anglican educational missionary and freelance Christian worker in India. So born in the Newcastle upon Tyne in northeast England, Andrews was educated in Birmingham and at Cambridge University. He was ordained an Anglican deacon. Deacon means he was assisting at worship. Then he will become a priest in 1897. In 1904, after 3 years of urban mission work in London and 4 years of teaching in Cambridge, he began a decade of teaching at St. Stephen's College in Delhi. As a missionary with the Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, in these years he was moderately high church in theology and passionately anti-capitalist in economic politics. For a short time he joined S.C. Stokes and Sundar Singh in a quasi-Franciscan missionary fellowship, but the experiment did not last. In 1912, Andrews met the Bengali poet Rabindranath Tagore in London, and 2 years later he resigned his teaching post and joined Tagore in his ashram. So in 1914, he also began an association with the Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, which was to last for the remainder of his life. So this is the information about this poet, and he was also instrumental in convincing Gandhi to return to India from South Africa, where Gandhi had been a leading light in the civil rights struggle. C.F. Andrews died on 5th April 1940 at the age of 69 in Calcutta, Bengal Presidency, that is in British India. So this is the information about poet. So let us learn lesson. So you can see these pictures here. Rabindranath Tagore, who written the Jana Gana Mana national anthem for India, and it was the Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. So here we have glossary and notes. Gurudeva. Here in this lesson they mentioned Gurudeva. So Gurudeva is nothing but Rabindranath Tagore. In that ashram people, they are calling Rabindranath Tagore. Instead of name, they are calling Gurudeva. Here choristers. Choristers means members who sing in the choir of a church. Here choir means a group of singers singing hymns. Hymn means a song of praise to God. Amloki means a tree like a mango tree. Reverence means giving respect. And here meditate means to pray silently of a peace of mind. Here draftsman means a designer or one who makes plans, or we can say a person who drafts legal documents, also we can say draftsman, like that. And recite means we can sing a poem or a story, or for recite for the longer memory, from memory. If you want to write exams and all, you can recite the poem like that. So you can see the great person like Rabindranath Tagore. He said that everything comes to us that belongs to us if we create the capacity to receive it. So in his words, he was saying everything comes to us, that when it belongs to us means when we have a when we create the capacity of receiving that particular thing, so it will be comes to us. So he was saying that word. So here we have a little information about Rabindranath Tagore. Why? Because this prose related to that Shantiniketan, who the founder of Rabindranath Tagore. For that reason we want to learn about Rabindranath Tagore. This is not there in your textbook, but I gave the extra information to know about this. So here Rabindranath Tagore 1861, he was born in 1861 and died in 1941, was the youngest son of Debendranath Tagore, a leader of Brahma Samaj, which was a new religious sector in the 19th century Bengal, and which attempted a revival of the ultimate monastic basis of Hinduism as laid down in the Upanishads. During that time, in the 19th century, they started Brahmo Samaj to attempt the revival of the ultimate monastic basis of Hinduism. So he was a leader. Who was the leader? Rabindranath Tagore's father was the leader of Brahmo Samaj during that time, 19th century. He was educated at home. He was means here Rabindranath educated at home, and although at 17 he was sent to England, he sent for England to higher studies, formal schooling. He did not finish his studies there, but he sent to England, but he did not finish his studies because in his mature years, in addition to his many-sided literary activities, he managed the family estates, a project which brought him into close touch with common humanity and increased his interest in social reforms. So he stopped studying and he is very interested in literary activities, and he started a social reforming. And he also started an experimental school at Shantiniketan, where he tried his Upanishadic ideals of education. From time to time he participated in the Indian nationalist movement, though in his own non-sentimental and visionary way. And Gandhi, the political father of modern India, was his devoted friend, and Tagore was knighted by the ruling British government in 1915. But within a few years, he resigned the honor as a protest against British policies in India. And he was one of the Nobel Prizer who wrote the national anthem of India. So here we have prose, that is a day in the ashrama. In this lesson, the C.F. Andrews, he was saying the information about his experience in the Shantiniketan ashram. So here first I will read the lesson, then I will explain. Words cannot picture to you the beauty of Shantiniketan. Our own poet and teacher, whom we call Gurudeva, has named it in his song, the darling of our hearts, and it is worthy of the name. All who have visited the ashram, old and young alike, have felt its inner beauty growing more and more upon them. So here the poet want to give us information about the ashram, how was there. So we can he was saying that we cannot say in words by picture what we have seeing in that, but the beauty of the Shantiniketan. Our own poet and teacher here, whom we call Gurudeva. Here they are saying Rabindranath Tagore also poet, and also in the ashrama they are calling him as a Gurudeva. he was named it as in his songs. Whatever the songs they are writing, they are writing the darling of our hearts. They are mentioning that word, the darling of our hearts, means that is very close to the people, and is very kind hearted, and he is very helpful for the others. So that reason, so they are mentioning in his songs the darling of our hearts, and it is very worthy of that name, because he is fit for that word. All who have visited in the ashram, like not only young people, even old also, they are visiting in that ashram. So they felt its very inner growing beauty more and more. Like inner means their hearts will be very happy, and inner beauty means they will be very kind hearted, like that. So it will be affecting them, like that he was saying. And you can see this. This is the Shantiniketan, and you can see the Rabindranath Tagore's idol in this picture. So if I were to describe to you one day in the ashram with the boys, that would perhaps best bring home to you its inner beauty. Long before sunrise, like the birds in our own Amloki groves, our boys are awake. The choristers are the first to rise, and they go round the ashram singing their morning hymn. You can hear the voices in the distance drawing nearer and nearer, and then the sound dies away as the choir passes on to another part of ashram, and then again it comes nearer and nearer. The beauty of sound in the silent morning air, and the sense of joy and reverence which it brings give peace to the soul. So here you want to describe to us that one day in the ashram, what are the daily routine in the ashram, what are the works they do in the ashram. So he was explaining that in the ashram with the boys, that would be perhaps best, perhaps means used when making a polite request. They'll be talking very politely, and they are very peaceful mind. If they want to talk anybody, they'll be talking very politely, like that. Long before sunrise, what they do, the birds in our means they are growing so many trees inside the ashram and around that. So when in the early morning, it will be very pleasant moment. Okay, so that trees on the trees, the birds will be chirping like that. Our boys the boys will be awake, means they wake up from the sleep, and the choristers who are like singing group over there, no? So they started once the sun rises, they go around the ashram, and they'll be singing some nice songs in the morning, like hymns, we will say, no? Hymns means like some mantras and all, and we can hear the voices in the distance. If they are singing very loudly, we can hear the voices from the far distance, and they are drawing nearer and nearer, means that voice will be taking peoples to nearer to that ashram, and then the sound dies away as the choir passes on to the another part of ashram, and means they will be moving around the ashram, and then again it comes nearer, and they will be going to the near the ashram. So the beauty of sound in the silent morning air, when we are hearing in the there is no sound pollution and all, the morning will be very pleasant moment. That time they will be singing hymns, means it will be giving very peace of mind to our soul. So we have to reverence, joy and reverence means we have to respect that moment, he was saying. So you can see this ashram, and here the people are sitting, and the Gurudeva will be teaching them. So after an interval, each boy takes his asan, his square of carpet, into the feels and sits down on it to meditate in his own place alone. Later on, before the school work began, the boys all stand together in the shade of trees and sing their hymn. So you can see after an interval, each boy takes a asanas. Asana means like yoga asanas and all. Is in a square carpet. They'll be making one. They'll be drawing that one carpet. Upon that carpet, they'll be making one square shape and sitting for the asanas. In that, fields of sits down on it and they start meditate. In his own place, like a Gurudeva will be sitting in his own place and he start meditating in his own place. And later on, before the school work begins, the boys all stand together in the shade of the trees and they'll be singing hymns. Till about 10:30, the work of the school goes on. We have no classrooms. The boys sit with their teachers in the open air under the trees. There are no longer classes. A group of 8 or 10 boys are seated round the teacher asking him questions. Very few books are used. A greater part is carried on through conversation. The boys soon learn to open out all their difficulties to their teachers. And the teachers get keenly interested in the boys' questions and answers. Such leaving education can never be dull. So here till about 10:30, the work of the school goes on. We have no classrooms. So like during the present days, we do have a classrooms like 8th standard classroom, 9th standard, like class-wise classrooms were there. No, in the Shantiniketan ashram, they do not have any kind of classrooms. The boys sit with their teachers in the open air under the tree. Okay, so here you can see the boys were sitting in the see like this. They will be making a few groups and they are sitting under the tree along with teacher. And there are no longer classes. They do not have a if you nowadays you have from 9:30 to till 4 o'clock like a larger classes you have, no, like that they do not have. A group of 8 or 10 boys are seated round the teacher, like one group, each group having a 8 or 10 boys they'll be having, and they'll be sitting in a round along with the teacher and asking the questions. And they do not have a kind of lessons. First the teacher will explain the lesson, then they will listen, they will write the notes, not like that. So they'll be asking questions to the teachers, which do they have any doubts, and very few books are they are using. A greater part is carried on through conversation, means when they are studying all over the time, they do have a conversation, like some doubts they'll be asking to the teacher, and teacher will be clarifying the doubts. So the boys soon open out all their difficulties and their teachers, and the teachers get very interested, keenly interested in the boys asking questions and answers. So such a leaving education can never be dull. It look like say leaving education. We are living in the present like that. It is not get a dull education during that time. So when the morning work is over, the boys bathe and go to their meal. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the classes begin again. But at this time, the work is chiefly with the hands as well as with the mind. Handiwork is practiced and the boys' own natural tastes are very soon discovered. Some prefer carpentry, others prefer mechanical work, others enjoy spinning and weaving, others become skilled draftsmen or painters, others are musicians. So what happened once the conversation is complete, when the morning work is over, the boys go to the bathroom to take the bath, and they go to their meal about 2 o'clock, and after that there is no like a conversation, like a question answer classes will be not there. Okay, they completely closed that one, and they started another classes, that is we can say handiwork practice, like a type of we can say spinning and weaving and like draftsman skills, like that. You can see these pictures. So the some prefer here, boys, they will be natural tastes are very soon here discovered, like depend upon their interest, they will be doing some activities like this. Some prefer carpentry, others prefer mechanical work, and some prefer weaving and spinning, like a different kind of depend upon their interest, they do this works. So there is a very little book work in the afternoon. School is over at about 4 o'clock, and then there is a rush to get first into the great open fields for football. Our Shantiniketan boys are famous everywhere for their sports and games. In the evening at the sunset, they return from the fields and sit down once more for the short time to meditate in silence. So what happened once this carpentry, that activities all done, so there is a very little book work. They do not have a very heavy book work. Okay, like we can say a homework and all, they are not having. School is over at 4 o'clock, and then there is a rush to get means they will be rushing to great open fields for the football. They are very fond of playing the game, sports and games. Boys are very famous in that sports and games. In the evening at sunset, they return from the fields and sit down once more for the short time to meditate in silence. There will be complete silence in that fields to meditate, means they will sit and meditate. So you can see these pictures, all the children are meditating. As night comes, fairy tales are told, short dramas are recited, our Gurudeva's songs are sung, and different school gatherings are held. By 9 o'clock, all are glad to retire to rest, and again the choristers go round the ashram singing their last evening hymns. There can be no question as to happiness of the life of our boys. Their faces tell the story of their joy and their freedom. There is no fairer life in India than the life of our children at Shantiniketan. So what happened, one night comes, the fairy tales are told for the children, they'll be conducting short dramas, and they recited, and they'll be singing the Gurudeva's songs which he written, and different school people, different school children also gathering, and they are all enjoying during night time. By the 9 o'clock, all are glad to retire to rest, and again the choristers go around the ashram by singing the hymns, and there can be no question as to happiness of the life of our boys. They do not have any restrictions, very their faces are telling that they will be living in a joy and freedom in that ashram. So you can see this, they are at night they are performing a dramas and reciting, and fairy tales also they are doing. So even you can also write like this story in your life, from morning to evening, how you are doing activities, you can take school or any college or wherever you are be, so you can take and you can also make this story, that is very, if you are interested. Okay, so I hope you found this video informative. So if you like my channel, please subscribe, share and comment below, that I can come with the another great stories and another subjects also. So your support is very important for me to develop my teaching classes. Thank you for watching, and before closing this session, I would like to say one few like positive words. So you can see your ability to choose a goal and single-minded work on it determines your level of success. So here you can see your ability to choose a goal and single-minded work means whatever you choose the goal, that is your ability, and the single-minded work on it determines your level of success. So this is very important. What is that? Ability of choosing a goal and single-minded work. When you have a ability to choose a goal and you do have a at the same time single-minded work, so that time it determines your level of success. Thank you for watching. Keep in touch in the next video.